Okay, NXT. After the Great American Bash and Evolution, we get this show. Now, knowing that we're going to have a very special event on Slammiversary where two titles, the NXT Women's title and the Knockouts title, is up for grabs. Either side can get it. And I will give my thoughts on, will WWE pull the trigger? Because there's a difference between TNA pulling the trigger and WWE pulling the trigger. There's a total difference. But let's start. First, it's a 6-man tag. Let me give it to you like this. Do we really need to see Santana, Trick Williams, and Joe Henry? Did we really need to see them go against Dark State? Well, in only one aspect. If Dark State is going to be under the control of Trick Williams, they needed to do this to make it look like he is not involved in this at all. But if he's not, if Trick Williams is not a part of Dark State, then this match really didn't need to be anything other than setting up a match between Dark State and the System, because as you saw with the match, at the end, the System comes out and starts kicking their ass, along with Santana and Joe Henry. That is what this was all about, if there's no Trick Williams in control of Dark State. Because as it stands right now, there is only two outcomes here. One, Dark State against the System. Do I want to see that? That's going to be the thing. Me and you guys, you're going to have to come up with this. Do you want to see Dark State dealing with the System? Honestly, if you're going to try and get any of these guys over in the System, well, not the System, the Dark State, I'm sorry. I think the reason that I brought the System in is that out of everyone in the System, the only one that has never been, well, if you take Moose out of it because he's not in the situation, the only one that's never worked in WWE, barely at all or at all, has been Eddie Edwards. Now, I know you're going to say, what about Alicia Edwards? But Alicia, she has not been there. She's not involved in it. So it's Eddie. Because Dirty Dango's been there. You got Brian Myers has been there. Let's make it very clear. It's either going to be one of them or it's going to be Eddie. They're exposing Eddie to what it's like in WWE because he showed up. Moose already done it. So he's the only one that could benefit from this. But let's make this very clear. At this point, I'm being honest. I know that Cutler is from LFG. I don't care about them because they just seem like a bite off of the Shield mixed with the Nexus. I don't care about any of them. None of them. When on NXT TV, they feel like a big waste. They don't really feel important. But when you put them on TNA, they do have some importance because they're invading another company. But do I want to see one faction go up against another one? I don't know. I'd rather see them being controlled. I want to see them be controlled by Trick Williams. That's what I think is the best option, to keep that title on him until Bound for Glory. He needs a faction. Best faction will be Dark State. That is the only reason this is happening. If it's just to put Dark State against the System, it's not going to go anywhere. But if you have Dark State under the control of Trick Williams, you got something. Because now he's trying to keep that title all the way up into Bound for Glory. Because I don't expect Santana to win, and I still don't expect Joe Henry to win. If one of them win, I'm all right with it. But if he's got Dark State as his faction, then neither one of them should win until Bound for Glory. Because that's when the real payoff will make sense. Yes, you can say Slammiversary, it's fine. It could be done there. But no. I truly believe Bound for Glory would be the best time for Trick Williams to drop that damn title. Because this is your best chance to truly build up Santana, truly build up Joe Henry, and anyone else that may come into the company. But that's just me moving on. Next match, which this is kind of a, what do I feel about seeing Jordan Grace lose her shit. I liked it. This was Carmen Petrovic having a match with, what is this girl's name? Kali or Calais? I think her name is Kali Armstrong. I don't watch Evolve. I didn't see her win the damn title before beating Natalya, because supposedly she won the title. Then Natalya went after her. She didn't get it. And now she feels like she's hot shit. And now Petrovic is going to be the one going after that title. What? I say this before, and I'll say it again. Why can you not put Natalya on TNA TV briefly? Look, she's not doing anything on the main roster. She's worked in NXT. Throw her ass on NXT and then let her go to TNA. This would be an accolade that very few women would ever have in that company. Well, technically, the former promotion known as WWE. Natalya has been there longer than anyone now at this point. All the other wrestlers have left other than Nikki Bella, who showed up on Raw and did her match against... I know she's back, but I'm just saying, I don't care about Nikki Bella because she's not a constant wrestler. Yes, she's back now, but she has not been there for 7 fucking years. Natalya has. Even when she got injured and she came back, she's been a constant. Why not let her go and have a program in TNA to reward her? That's something you would never expect. But I'm just saying. Now, let's make it very clear. Did I care about Petrovic and Armstrong's match? No, because it wasn't about that. This is about Jordan Grace losing her shit because of Blake Sinclair betraying her. And then what did we get? We get her jumping in, beating the crap out of both of them. Their match thrown out. You get her in there screaming she wants her hands literally around that scrawny neck of a little bit of Blake Sinclair. You got Mr. Stone and his I keep forgetting her name. Why can't I remember this woman's name? Who is the general manager of Evolve? I don't know why I just can't remember. She's not memorable to me. And that's not a good thing. I'm sorry. She's beautiful. She can talk. But she doesn't feel memorable. Mr. Stone does. Not because he's Robbie E. It's because before I realized it was Robbie E., Mr. Stone had personality. You can feel the type of personality Mr. Stone is because he just has one. She doesn't feel like she has one. That's why I keep forgetting her name. But guess what happened? They get in the ring. They're trying to calm her down. Blake Sinclair does a nice vid pack saying Blake Sinclair doesn't like a Jordan Grace. And next week she's going up against Red Sinclair to be able to, not Petrovic. I got Sinclair mixed up with Petrovic. I'm sorry. Because I'm thinking about, let me give it to you like this. Sinclair is going to get her ass whooped 7 days to Sunday when she goes up against Blake Monroe. She will. She's going to be destroyed. There's no way she's going to survive that. She's going to get her ass handed to her. And then we're going to see Jordan Grace. That's what we got. Now, you know why I say it like that with Jordan Grace going there and destroying whoever's going to be in that ring? It's because what happened? You got Mr. Stone and his counterpart. I keep forgetting her name. I just don't remember why. Well, actually, like I said, she's not memorable. Literally, she lays them both out. And then you see Mr. Stone going, I'm sorry. Stone likes to overplay everything. That is just how Robbie E. was when he was in Impact Wrestling TNA and NXT, and he's still here. Is it funny? Yes. But he likes to overdo it. But seeing her destroy both of them, I'm not surprised. Moving on. The third match. The family is over. Or should I just say simply, Tony just let them have it. I'm not sure what title yet. But we had nice maybe the Tony documentary. There you go. I think that might be the best title. The Tony D documentary. We got to see the beginnings of Tony D before he became the Don. Then we got to see him as the Don. Then he brought in Stacks. Then he brought in Crucifino. Then he brought in Rizzo. Kind of repeat of before, but now we got video to go with what he said at that bridge before he threw the Heritage Cup over the side of the bridge. I liked it because it does wrap up full circle of Tony D'Angelo when he first came into NXT and NXT 2.0. Because as Vic said, when you look at how Tony D was, when he got into the ring with Crucifino and Stacks, he took his hat off, put it onto one of the posts, just like when he first started. And then they had the match. And it was a good match. It was a good three-way, but I thought it was going to be for the Heritage Cup. But since they threw it off the bridge, I don't know if you're going to see Stacks with a Heritage Cup or a Heritage title. Like I said, maybe the Heritage Cup should be retired and they call it the Heritage Championship from now on. And they give him a title. That's what I think would be the best thing. Now, I'm not saying they're going to do that, but that's what it feels like. But I kind of thought that would be good to actually have the title on the line so it could put over Stacks, it could put over Tony D, it could put over Crucifino, whoever won it. Now, I did believe that Tony was going to win. I did not think Crucifino or Stacks was going to win, and I was right. Next to Tony, that spot that used so much, I mean, it's not constant, that they just spear someone right through the panel, right near where commentary is, but they've done it way too many times for me personally. I wish they would do that maybe once a year, not every couple of months or something. That's just me. But Tony won. And then he leaves his hat on the ring post and he walks away. Here's the thing. Tony should be done with NXT now. He's finished up his business in NXT. They should bring up the Raw or SmackDown. Honestly, that's what I think should happen. He should go to Raw or SmackDown. He doesn't have to be the Don. He just has to be Tony D'Angelo. The family's over. Move him to the main roster. I believe he's ready. Do I believe Crucifino's ready? No. Do I believe Stacks is ready? Yes. But do I believe they'll move him? No. Even though I have seen Stacks on Reality of Wrestling at least once. I haven't checked them again in the last couple of weeks to see what Platinum or, what was the name of it? Glory. Platinum or Glory has been up to lately. I haven't checked yet. I'm going to see if I can do it this week. I'll check and see what, I think it's Platinum now, or is it Glory? I don't know which show it's going to be. Because there's two shows. But Stacks is on one of them. And I do believe he's not going to leave NXT because he's still working the, I think it was Glory. So, I don't believe he's done because he does have his own faction there. So, that could mean the ones who are supposed to be in Reality of Wrestling Glory, because he has his own team there. Maybe now if they move Tony D to the main roster, Raw or SmackDown. I do believe SmackDown maybe might be the best place. I'm not sure. It might be. But essentially speaking, you can bring Stacks in with that faction that's from Reality Wrestling. That's just me, you guys can below. Next, we got the 6-woman tag. Due to the fact what happened in the very opening of the show. Let me give it to you like this. Seeing that Fatal Influence had their moment with Marshall Slamovich, with Soruka, with Zarya, it was okay. Did I believe it needed to be a 6-woman tag at the end of the show? No. I don't think it was necessary. I don't think so. Unless Soul and Zarya are going to be at Slammiversary to back her up, which they're not, because it looked like Ling Lang Lee and Zaya Brookside are going to be by her side while Fatal Influence is going to be there. Because that's the graphic they showed. So I don't believe there was a match needed. Was it a bad match? Heck no. It wasn't a bad match. All the women did a very decent job. Not the perfect job, but they did an alright job. In the end, you got Marsha pinning a JC James. And that's after the Cullen came out, after Hank and Tank came out. It just, let me give it to you like this. Well, of course, Tatum Paxley and Izzy Dane. I'll talk about them in a minute. But I don't believe it was necessary. I just don't. You could have had a match, but you didn't need all 6 women. You could have had Zarya go up against what? Fallon Henley. She could have gone up against her. Because I don't think Nyx would have been the best person. No. It would have been Fallon and Zarya. I think that would have been the best. But do I believe it was the right... I'm botching here. You know the reason why I'm botching here is because you could say they just telegraphed what's going to happen. That Marsha will not win. And it will be, and I will elaborate more in a minute, that maybe I shouldn't elaborate. Let's leave it at that. Let's just talk about what happened. Like, let's talk about what happened with the Cullen. Because I did mention them. Because when you saw Zarya, Marsha, and Soul talking, you also saw the Cullen going to Tatum Paxley. Tatum said, I'm sorry, I know I ruined it. And pretty much Izzy said, no. I'm pissed off that Soruka got those damn titles. You didn't do anything wrong. And she said simply, no one's ever said that to me. She said, of course. No one's ever said because they don't really care. I care. You haven't done anything wrong. You did everything you could. I'm just saying that she did everything she could to help her win. And that's when she got the idea to go out and mess with Zarya and Soruka with Marsha. Now, what did I feel about Josh, Ubafemi, and Inamura? This was the wisest thing to do. This was needed. I said it and I meant it. Like I said, because of what happened in that match, I knew Josh and Inamura were going to butt heads eventually. And now, look what we got. Next week in Houston, we're going to have a 3-way between Josh, Inamura, and Ubafemi. Was the talk good? Yes. Seeing that Briggs made it very clear that Inamura is too nice. He pushed you to his limits, and that's when he was talking to Ubafemi. He pushed you to the limits, but you're about this close to being done. I am not him. He's honorable. I don't care about being honorable. And Inamura made it very clear. I can do whatever it takes, but I'm going to do it with honor. But that's when everything broke down, and there was a fight in the ring, and there you go. Now, let me give it to you like this. I'm not going to foreshadow what's going to happen. I'm not going to predict. But I will say this. Because of Inamura working with Josh, it's obvious that sooner or later they're going to be up against each other in a feud. Do I believe it's going to be immediate? No. But this will be more dissension between the two, which is fine. I'm not surprised it's happening. It had to happen. Now, let me finish this up. When it comes to, let me give you like this. When you look at the final match, when you looked at the 6-woman tag, and you see that JC James was beaten by Marsha, it makes it very, very, well, I'm not saying they're actually just telling you what they're about to do, because they still go the other way. But here's the big question in that. Would they literally pull the trigger and let a TNA wrestler have a title from WWE? Because, look, Trick Williams is currently holding the TNA title, but TNA is more than happy to do it because they're in a collaboration with Silver Lake WWE. Let's make it very clear. I have not seen, what is the guy's name? Ari Anawai. I have not seen his podcast yet. Someone asked me, would I give a review of it, or at least my thoughts on it. I haven't seen it yet. But let's make it very clear with Carlos Silva. As the current president of TNA, all that matters to him is get TNA exposure at any cost. And right now, this collaboration is that kind of cost. Is it a bad collaboration? No, it's actually helped TNA. Now, I've always still saying, and I still mean this, wait and see, because you still have network executives running a wrestling promotion that is owned by a corporation. No better than WWE. But at this point, the difference between the corporation of Silver Lake compared to the corporation of Anthem is this, that you do not have a president in Silver Lake WWE. You don't. You have pretty much guys who are in corporation, who are corporate. But in well, how can I say this? In TNA, you have a network executive compared to a corporate executive. Remember, Nick Khan versus to Silva. There's the difference. Nick Khan basically is the CEO and Silva is the president. That's the difference. What are you getting? You're getting the thought of a network executive doing whatever it takes to get this thing noticed. And the question's going to be, it's not the problem that JC James could get the NXT title. No, this is not about Silva. Silva, like I said, is a network executive. He'll do whatever it takes to get exposure for TNA. That was his mandate from the CEO from Anthem. Do what you got to do to make money. Do what you got to do to get exposure. Do what you got to do to get a streaming deal that's other than Anthem or Fightful. Well, not Fightful. What was that app? I think the Fightful app, along with, they're making some money from YouTube app. But let's make it very clear. They want to be in a real streaming service. And that's what they're going to try and do. But will this happen in reverse? This is the thing, guys. Would Silver Lake, or basically Nick Khan, or Triple H, of course, he's got to still be told they're allowed to do it. Because no matter what you say, Nick is going to tell Paul, give it to them. Because no matter what anybody says, Paul still reports to somebody. If this was pitched by Silva to Paul, Paul's going to have to put it up the totem pole to see who's going to agree to it. Because it's going to go to Nick. And the question is going to be, will Nick, and I know you're going to say, what about Ari? Ari doesn't care. Not at all. Whatever makes money, that's the thing. But when it comes to Nick, he's different. He's been there longer. He knows how the business works at this point. So as a corporate exec, he knows whatever would work to make some money, that would be it. Ari just tell him, make the money. Nick is going, okay, I've been here for more than a few years. I know how WWE works. Would this work for WWE? Would this give WWE something extra? Would it make it mean something? That's going to be the question. Will they pull the trigger on this? Maybe that's the title. Maybe I should say, will they pull the trigger on the knockouts, the NXT title? Maybe that might be the title. I don't know yet. But that's going to be a big question. And it's just me. And I hope you enjoy this. Oof. This is a big question, man. Will they really let Marsha actually have the NXT title? Will they let her have it? Who knows? Peace.